Nintendo, they've launched the Switch 2 strong, but 2026 is where everything gets decided. Because right now, this generation still feels like it's warming up. We've seen some great upgrades, some exciting patches, but it's not yet been that year where you look at the lineup and you think, okay, yeah, Switch 2 just crushing it. But 2026 might be that year. These are 13 confirmed Switch 2 games that could define this console's future, and look, honestly, if they land, it might be one of the best years Nintendo's ever had. Let's begin with the undisputed king taking over your entire life. Animal Crossing New Horizons Switch 2 Edition. I'll admit it, this isn't my go-to genre, but millions treat Animal Crossing like a second home, and those fans, I promise you, they're already clearing their schedules. Faster loading, sharper visuals, smoother online, Zelda crossovers, Splatoon crossovers, and I promise you, Nintendo, they're absolutely hiding bigger surprises. In my opinion, this will be the most hours played game of the year, even if some of us only join for a little while. Mario Tennis Fever, that's one I'm quietly buzzing for. The last game on Switch 1, I clocked way more online hours than I'm comfortable admitting. Fast, competitive, addictive, that gameplay loop I adored. If they get this right, for me personally, yeah, goodbye free time. Tomodachi Life, Living the Dream, I think that's how you say it, because full honesty, I've never played one, and something about the Mii's here just felt creepy, but maybe that's the whole appeal. Everything I hear about this series is the same. It's weird, it's chaotic, and it's completely unpredictable. It's essentially Nintendo letting you drop a bunch of faces into a tiny flat and then just saying, see what kind of weirdness unfolds. The perfect what the hell just happened experience. And, you know, in the TikTok era and YouTube Shorts era, where every bizarre moment becomes entertainment, this could absolutely take off. Professor Layton and the New World of Steam is Nintendo storytelling at its most heartfelt. This series doesn't just give you puzzles, it sets you up with gentle brain teasers. But then it'll hit you right in the chest with moments that stay with you for years. Steam-powered London here looks like a brilliant direction, and Level 5 returning to form, yeah, just feels right. Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave then looks to me like a big return to form. Not that it's really struggled. But yeah, it's got this grounded, character-driven strategy, and I think that's what the series does best. Visually as well, I think it looks incredible. It's by far the sharpest the franchise has ever been. I'm seeing dramatic camera angles, incredible environments, and an art direction that has some real just weight. You know, Fire Emblem isn't just beloved by fans, it's one of Nintendo's prestige exclusives. And if the storytelling lands here, this could easily be one of the system's most critically acclaimed releases. So that's Nintendo's core IPs, the comfort, the nostalgia, the guaranteed sellers. But here's the thing, a console doesn't get legend status just because the first party games are great. It's kind of expected. What changes a generation is when everyone else shows up too. The third party support that makes a system feel essential, no matter what type of gamer you are. And that's exactly what we're seeing in 2026. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade then might be one of the biggest technical moments for the Switch 2 alongside Cyberpunk. If this runs well, and I've already played it, it will just silence every "oh, Nintendo can't do blockbusters" argument overnight. You know, at Gamescom, handheld and docked, it looked incredible. If the full release keeps that level, this is the one for me that proves the Switch 2 belongs beside PS5 and Xbox. Next up, Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. The original, it needed pacing work, and I think Square Enix knows it. With the series more popular worldwide than ever, this remake could turn a cult classic into a modern favourite. My only concern personally, I'm not sure the visual style is for me. It's got those Pixar vibes, but it's definitely nice to see something different and not another HD 2D spin. Resident Evil Requiem arrives alongside RE7 and Village. Now, horror is such a powerful handheld experience. Headphones on, lights off, regrets, well, immediate. Requiem is, in my opinion, the biggest test. You know, I'm looking for consistent frame rate, strong lighting, real immersion. Capcom nails this, Switch 2 becomes the portable survival horror king. And this is the game that proves the hardware is next-gen enough. And then there's Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. A similar situation. This one is going to push the Switch 2. There's no question about that. I played it on the Xbox and just come here for cinematic set pieces, incredible environments, really like creative traversal. There's so much happening here. To be honest, for me, I thought this was the kind of experience that would be locked behind a PS5 or Series X. So seeing it, yeah, great news for system owners. For me though, can the Switch 2 run this well? That's going to be the big question. This is the year again where we're going to prove what this hardware can do. So yeah, it's another massive win for the platform, and it's one I strongly suggest you keep an eye on. Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection feels like Capcom saying, okay, now we're taking this spin-off a little bit more seriously. A darker world, co-op hunts, a bigger focus on exploration. This could finally become the game that bridges casual fans and the hardcore crowd. Looks gorgeous too. But if the systems hit right, this could be one of the most replayable games of the year on the go. Now this next one, I'll say this, it's a miracle in progress. Elden Ring Tarnished Edition. Look, my first demo at Gamescom was far from perfect. Frame rate issues, hiccups. But then the PAX demo footage of that just weeks later looked considerably better, which tells me the delay for the studio it's the right move. Because like if the Switch 2 becomes the handheld where you can genuinely play Elden Ring, well, that is the moment the narrative around this hardware just changes forever. So yeah, they just need to stick the landing. And that brings us to the Duskbloods, another From Software, but this one exclusive on Nintendo's hardware. That sentence alone just feels so weird. But if this is good, and there's every chance it will be, it permanently changes Nintendo's identity. Switch 2 stops being, the family console, the cozy console, the indie console, and it becomes a home for prestige action too. That's a massive shift, and I hope it comes to fruition. Finally, 007 First Light. Bond hasn't felt properly at home on a Nintendo system for a long time, and this feels like that comeback moment. Cinematic action, huge locations, tons of visual effects. It looks like a proper blockbuster. The question, of course, how? Now that it's launching alongside Resident Evil Requiem, I'd say the confidence is clearly there in the performance of this system. But yeah, look, if this delivers, Switch 2 doesn't just prove it has the power, I think it proves it can handle like 80% of what's hitting other systems. And with all of this said, those games, ones I'm really excited for, that's kind of just the tip of the iceberg in 2026. We got Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. Could easily be one of those charming surprises that only Nintendo can make, a comfort platformer that quietly becomes a fan favorite. We've also got Witchbrook from the publisher of Stardew Valley. It's a cozy, magical life sim that could easily become everyone's new comfort game. Fatal Frame 2, it's bringing back one of the most genuinely terrifying classics ever made. And Lego Batman Legacy, because who doesn't love switching their brain off with a good Lego adventure? Then Danganronpa 2 for the visual novel fans who live for twists, panic and chaos. Splatoon Raiders is apparently taking the series in a more ambitious direction, which I personally think it's been needing for a while. And then there's one I actually saw at Gamescom, Good Boy. Comes from Team 17. You're a tiny robot helping a stranded human on your home planet. It's adorable, it's quirky, it's all based around dogs, which I love. And yeah, it looks like the kind of game that sneaks up on people and becomes one of the year's biggest indies. So when you put all of that together, 2026 isn't just busy, it feels pivotal. The year where the Switch 2 stops building the foundation and actually starts building the legacy. Because if even half of these games deliver, yeah, we got a good year ahead. 2026 isn't just busy, I think it's going to be pivotal. Because this is a year that decides what the Switch 2 truly is. Is this just a nice upgrade, a better handheld than before? Or is this the handheld, the platform where every kind of game can shine? If this lineup lands, Nintendo doesn't just stay competitive, I think they remain undisputed in the handheld space for another generation. But if delays stack up, if performance issues creep back in, the confidence there, I think it starts to fade. And the Switch 2 risks feeling like a mid-gen refresh instead of the revolution it could be. So yeah, 2026 is a turning point. This is the year Nintendo has to prove it. So which game do you think will define the Switch 2? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, consider hitting like and subscribe. Helps out the channel a huge amount. And I'll see you on the next one. Cheers all.